Hi, welcome you to Moose Jaw this week. I'm Lyle Johnson, your host, and today we're talking about an upcoming event that's a week of activities that are so well designed and well organized that you won't want to miss any of them. And it has to do with the crystal meth awareness program that's been taking place in Moose Jaw for the last year. And we have Marilee Booth and Jody Oakes talking to us today, joining us on the program. So welcome, ladies.
Thanks for having us.
Thanks, Lyle.
And now I just want to read some stuff that Marilee gave me here because it's really clear. So, according to the Canadian Centre on Substance Use and Addiction, National Awareness Week highlights solutions to help address harms related to alcohol and other drugs. Provides an opportunity for Canadians to learn more about prevention, to talk about treatment and recovery, and to bring forward solutions. Addressing mental health and addictions issues is complex, and it takes the effort of many organizations, services, and individuals working together to ensure that citizens with mental health and addiction issues have their needs met and in the most appropriate and coordinated way. The Moose Jaw Crystal Meth Strategy Committee, in partnership with the Moose Jaw Police Service, Medivie Health Services West, Moose Jaw Public Library, SHA Health Promotion, John Howard Society, Journey to Hope, and Square One Community Inc. are pleased to do a number of local activities and events to encourage community members to learn more about alcohol and drug misuse, the potential harms associated with these activities, and how to connect for help with mental health and addiction services. Marilee, I took a lot of your thunder, but I know that you're going to help me fill in things. And you talked about one of the things we want to address too is the stigma or the attention that people gather if they are associated with drug use. So, Marilee?
Okay. Well, National Addictions Awareness Week helps us to make the issue about addictions, puts it in the spotlight. And one of the things that we want to do is also highlight and address the stigma that's attached to addiction. So actually, Jody talks very eloquently on this topic, so I'm going to hand it over to Jody for this piece.
Thanks, Marilee. Thanks, Lyle. Yeah, I think, talking on that stigma piece, while so many times, we hear the word addiction and we hear the word addict, and we hear the word addict, we think of the person who, maybe is on the streets and they're stealing and they're in jail. And we just think of all the negative things. We don't think of, and that's what creates a stigma. We don't think that, they're someone's son or daughter or mom or, loved one. We don't think that, they may have been a professional in their life. We see this in all walks of life, right? Every single person that, I've come across, it's been trauma. There's been something that has happened to them in their past that, that has caused that. I've never met one person who has said, as a little child, this is where I want to be in my life, right? This is what I want things, to happen. Complete opposite. People, this is what has happened, whether, it's been some trauma or, people have had a workplace accident and, have got addicted to, maybe some painkillers and, then that substance use has taken over. But I think with that stigma, we just, again, we don't get to know that person. We just look at the person that we see, right? And getting to know the person and getting to talk to them and knowing that they are human and that they have family that loves them and a community that cares for them. And I think if we can break down some of that stigma, and I'm huge on that. I have sat on and co-chaired International Overdose Awareness Day for the last couple of years in Regina and Moose Jaw. And that was one of the things that we've really, really tried to talk about is, breaking down that stigma and letting people know who people really are. Seeing that human side of it and seeing it as an illness. It's not a moral failure. It's not something that, somebody's just, chosen. I'm gonna, end up with this illness and I'm gonna be sick for a long, long time. It's not whatever anybody hopes or thinks, when they first start to use. And, I spend a lot of time We have a couple programs at John Howard here, but spend a lot of my time, with people who are dealing with, homelessness and mental health and substance use. And again, when you're dealing with all of those things, I explain it as the Jenga game. When that Jenga isn't standing tall and all those pieces fall, there's a lot of things going on in people's lives, right? And they need that support. They need that foundation to be able to build that back up again. And so, if we can all be part of that, and if we can be one of those Jenga pieces for people and help them build up and break down that stigma, I think it's really important. So stigma is a huge thing, right? I think seeing the human side of it and really talking to people. I think once you talk to somebody who's living with substance use and really get to know them as a person, we really see things differently. But breaking down that stigma for families too, because families have a hard time coming forward and talking about it when, they know that their family is going to be judged. If somebody is sick, with another disease, we wrap our arms around them, and we always try to help support people. But with this disease, it's different. So, but I think just putting that human piece to it and letting people know it really is a disease, right? It's just something that people have, and they need just as much support with this disease as any other disease.
Okay, thanks. That's a very true thing, and I think when we talk about the programs and the activities that are happening this week, you can see how that philosophy enters into that programming that's available to us. So let's start off with Monday, November the 22nd. Now this is a drug awareness session, Noxalone presentation, and that kind of that seems to be a good safety net. I think that's the way I would describe how it works. It's for some people who, when they're doing drugs, they don't know how much they can do, or sometimes they want a little more kick and stuff. So let's just start off with the Noxalone presentation on Monday. What does that involve?
Yeah, so we have a short video that we will show that is done by a pharmacist. So there's a video that we show, and then there's some training, and people will be able to access a kit. So we have two different kinds of kits at our office that we hand out all the time. So we have naloxone and Narcan. They're the same type of thing. One is just a needle injection, one is a nasal spray. So if you ever hear naloxone or Narcan, it's the same thing, just two different ways to administer them. And so that will be that training. It's completely free. Anybody is welcome to come to it. And again, we ask no questions, right? All we want to do is make sure that if somebody does need one of these kits, that, we get them in their hands and that we can make sure that people are safe. I always say to people, if you have a first aid kit in your workplace or your home or wherever you are, I really believe this should be part of your first aid kit. It is life-saving, right? And it could help somebody. And
what does it do, Jody? What exactly does it do?
Yeah, so it'll just it will help with that overdose, right? So, it's not going to end somebody's, substance use. It's not, and people think, well, is it a drug that'll cure it? Absolutely not. It's not that whatsoever, right? But it will help in that moment. If somebody is overdosing and, maybe somebody doesn't know, you commented, blah, right? Maybe they needed more. Maybe lots of times we find now people don't know what they're doing. They actually don't know. Somebody might be doing cocaine or crystal meth, but not realizing maybe what else may be in that drug, right? And we're finding that right now. A lot of drugs are laced with other stuff. So making sure, that somebody has one of these kits, right? And again, breaking down that stigma. I've heard so many times, people say, well, what, they're addicts. Like, why would we try and save them? And I had somebody say to me one time, it was actually somebody in recovery who said, Jody, I never, ever believed in this stuff. I never believed in it. She said, until I realized that this saved me long enough so I could find recovery. And that's really what it's about, right? Because it might not be the first time, it might be the 101st time. But if this can save somebody long enough, maybe, that time, maybe they can, they can access that help and they can get the support they need, that maybe it will be their chance to recovery. So yeah, so at our office, we have these all the time. And we give them to absolutely anybody. There's no questions asked. We don't ask, is it for you? Is it for your family? There's no questions asked. We just want to make sure that people have it and they can use it. So.
Okay. Now, the current drug trends in Moose Jaw, that evening, on Monday, the 22nd evening, the police service is providing something. Marilee, since you're involved with the police service, sitting on the board and stuff like that, tell us about that presentation.
Well, there will be an officer and as well as a community paramedic who are paired up to do this presentation. So what they will do is talk about current drug trends in Moose Jaw and area. So they'll talk about what they're seeing in their day-to-day work lives out there, what people are using, what the drugs do to people. So that it really is very informative to parents, educators, community members, even if they want to bring in their children or teenagers to this presentation, because when people are informed, then they can make some choices. They can also recognize then too if there are some early signs and get intervention earlier than later. So that's
Sure.
at the Moose Jaw Public Library Theater at 7:00 on November 22nd. We can seat 60 people at that event, and we'll require people to show their vaccine passports or a recent COVID test, and participants or the audience members are required to wear a mask throughout the presentation.
Okay. Well, thanks. That's one day.
Mhm.
Tuesday,
Yeah.
Zoom presentation. Spread the word on meth.
Sure. So
guess-
that presentation is just in partnership with the Moose Jaw Public Library, and it is really kind of a crystal meth one-on-one. But kind of what are the facts? What is crystal meth? What does it look like? How do people take it? What does it do to people's brains and bodies? And so really what that is it's informing, again, community members about the dangers of crystal meth, and also, how to recognize if somebody is taking it or overdosing, and where to get some supports and resources.
Yeah, and of course that's as I said, it's a Zoom presentation, and that's the site to connect with it. And it'll be available, of course, if you go to any of the websites for crystal meth strategy, or if you go to John Howard Society, that address will be on the program. All right, that's Tuesday. Now Wednesday we get into premiere of Moose Jaw's second locally filmed production, and of course our own Eric Steiner is very much involved with the program, and we're very happy that he is able to do that and bring it forward. So tell me about this new video. What's happening?
So after our first video was launched, that was Stop Mething Around, we had lots of inquiries from family members who were saying, my sister or my mother or my cousin has an issue with crystal meth. And so they were reaching out for support. And so we really felt compelled to do a second episode of Stop Mething Around. So this one is called Stop Mething Around, A Family Affair. And it features a family member of a person who was struggling with crystal meth addiction, but it is now in recovery. And she talks about her story going through as a family member. And it also features a police officer who's on the PACT team in Moose Jaw, talking about, what he has seen on his job. And I'm also in the video talking from the perspective of, the Crystal Meth Strategy Committee. So that is going to be premiering at the Moose Jaw Public Library Theater on Wednesday, November 24th at 7 p.m. And again, we can allow 60 people in the theater, and we will need to ask people to show their vaccine passports or recent COVID test, and the audience members will have to wear masks during the presentation.
Okay. And people will again, there's no charge for any of these programs we're talking about today. There's no cost factor, because it's important that we have these things happening. So Thursday now, we're on to November 25th. And there's a luncheon.
I just want to also say that the Monday night and the Wednesday night events at the Public Library Theater, there will be Narcan Kits available for distribution. So Jody's John Howard Society has made that possible for that to occur. So sorry
Thanks
about that.
for that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Stole your thunder, Jody.
No, thank
Oh,
you.
Jody,
Thanks
will there
for
be
you.
any kits available at these events?
There will be. So Monday night
Oh,
and
good.
Wednesday night, there will be kits available. And again, on that, I just, I can't stress enough. If anybody needs a kit or anybody's wanting a kit, please, please come and please reach out. And again, it's sometimes, it's the family members who really struggle because they have such a hard time. And they know that, sometimes as families, they're judged, right? But again, we want everybody and anybody to get a kit. So if you do know somebody, please just come and get one.
Okay. Now, Lunch and Learn event. Drug treatment court. I'd never heard that before until I read the press release. And so it's sponsored by Square One Community Inc. and will be shown at 12 noon. Tell me more about that. Jody, is that you?
Sure, yeah.
Is that Marilee?
So, well, I'll talk about it a little bit. Maybe me and Marilee might both. I don't have anything to do with drug treatment court. That's Stacy. So Stacy will be there that day, and Chad will be there that day, I believe, as well. We work closely with drug treatment court, and so you'll be able to hear, the side that happens with drug treatment court and what they do, and it's an amazing thing that we have in our community, and it helps people too. It's another support system. It's intense programming, as Stacy will tell you, but I mean, it has helped so many people in our community, and it's another great program. So it'll be a great segment, a great lunch and learn for everybody to listen to and join into.
Is there a cost for this event?
No. So there's no cost for that at all. So anybody can register and come to the lunch and learn, and listen to Stacy and Chad, and then ask those questions too. And I think just something key is that'll be another safe space, right? Making sure that just Marilee and I think we both want everybody to know that all of these spaces are safe spaces that week, right? So come on to that lunch and learn, and even if you don't want to ask a question there, you can always reach out to Stacy or Chad as well afterwards. They're both very open.
And where does it take place?
So that's going to be a Zoom. Wow. So that's going to be online.
Oh, okay. You have lunch for Zooming.
Lunch. Well,
it's a light lunch. It's a light lunch then. Bring your own lunch.
Bring your own lunch and sit and yes.
And then in the evening, there's also talking with kids about drugs, and it's an interactive discussion. So, Marilee, what's that all about?
Well, that's again, it's a Zoom presentation in partnership with Moose Jaw Public Library, and this one is intended for parents of preteens and teens, and it really is a discussion on talking to your kids about drugs in general. And I think sometimes people may not think about things like vaping and smoking or even alcohol to that extent as drugs, but they are. And so it's just a discussion about how to open up that discussion. And sometimes teenagers may appear like they're just really not interested in having these kind of discussions with their parents. But one thing that we do know is that parents are very important and can really have great influence, both by their modeling and their relationship and what their conversations with their kids. They will have impact on their kids' decisions.
And again, it's palliserlibrary.zoom, and that will help you get into it. There's a lot of things going on. There's Hope vignettes take place as well during the week, and these are from journey2hope.synthesite.com or on the Moose Jaw Journey to Hope Facebook page. We're getting to the end of the program here. Is there anything you want to add about what those are about?
So Nicole Hebert is a volunteer with the Journey to Hope program. So Nicole Hebert is a volunteer with the Journey to Hope organization, and she's done a number of vignettes with different people on a series called Voices of Hope or Voices of Recovery. So those can be found on the Journey to Hope website, and some vignettes that they are featuring during Addictions Awareness Week will also, again, highlight the area of addictions.
This is going to be a fact-filled, and I won't say fun-filled because it's very serious, but it is certainly important to our community to know that these things are available to them and how to access them. And like the crystal meth strategy is in an evolution stage now, that they are moving. They've identified things in our society, and they're addressing it to different organizations who can do a very good job about it. And this crystal meth will be going away, kind of. Marilee, explain that process.
Well, the year 2021 was intended for the prevention and awareness campaign. So it will be coming to a conclusion. So we've done our work this year. We had lots of great media coverage, and we're also in social media, and I think we were feeling quite successful, that we were able to get the word out, and I think more people are aware of what crystal meth is and the dangers of crystal meth. And our goal really this year was to kind of make people aware, and also to prevent non-users of crystal meth from using in the first place. So we won't know if we've achieved that, but certainly through lots of different presentations and media events, we've been able to make the community aware of what crystal meth is.
Yeah, and you've done an excellent job. The community has grown together. Different organizations have found a way to cooperate to bring this information to the people out in our community, and also help people, use people as examples who have gone through this process. And there is light at the end of that tunnel if you do get involved with crystal meth. And these are some strategies that will help them survive. And well, as I say, we're near the end. Jody, is there anything else you want to add?
No, I just maybe, if somebody doesn't want to come to a presentation or isn't able to come to a presentation, they could always reach out to me as well to access and to get a kit. And again, in the last little while, we've lost a couple members of our community to overdoses, and so if this can help at all, or if we can start those conversations by attending one of the meetings or the Zoom meeting, or just having that conversation, that's what we'd love to do, and it's so important. And I just want to let people know, if you are struggling, or you have somebody in your family struggling, or a loved one, that there's so many of us out here that do care and do want to support you and do want to help you. So if you're needing a Narcan kit and you can't make it, please feel free to call me. You can call me at 306-690-9384, and I will make sure you get a kit. I can drop one off to you. You can pick one up for me, whatever works for you.
Okay, and Marilee, how about you?
Well, I just want to say that there's so many great partnerships in Moose Jaw. Like the Moose Jaw Police Services has been such a big part of this campaign, along with the school divisions and Saskatchewan Health Authority folks, and Waccamaw Detox, Moose Jaw Transition House. I can't say enough about the partnerships that have been developed. And this is good because the issue of addictions is really a multi-sectoral interagency issue that deserves a multi-sectoral interagency solution. So, it's just really important that people continue to talk and work together on solutions.
Okay. Ladies, thank you for taking time out of your day to join us and share the knowledge that you have, and also opportunities for people to participate in information gathering and also in recovery. So thanks to both of you for the jobs that you do that are well done. And I just want to say thanks, and hopefully in the future we're going to be able to have opportunities to talk to you again about how the event and the activities are proceeding forward. But thanks again, and to our audience, thanks to you for watching, and we'll see you again soon on Moose Jaw this week.